And we are now recording. And I will mute as well and turn it over to you here in just a second, Villana. If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute and ask, or you can type them in the chat as well, and I can read them for Villana because I'll be monitoring the chat. So, all right, lady, it's all yours.
All right, thank you. Hey guys, so I'm Villana. I think I know everybody from either personally or from other things. So I'm doing how to write an award recommendation. Let me get my screen shared. Can everybody see that now? Can we see it? Yes? It's all okay. All right, so where to start? A lot of people aren't sure, what awards people have or don't have. So the best thing to start, looks like I left, no, I put it on a different screen. Okay, is the order of precedence. People will be on the order of precedence if they already have an award. And I linked it in here, and I'm gonna open it up real quick. Here, if you know their SCA name, you can search for them, and I'm just going to use my name. And it comes up with my name, names that scrolls have been given out in the past to them under, or if they've changed their SCA name, they're linked together. And then it has a list of all the awards that they have. So if you were thinking about putting somebody in for an AOA, if they already have it, it shows. If you think somebody does really awesome artwork in a particular field, you can come in and check. Like for mine personally, it says sable thistle and mine's in lamp working. I know locally I was like, I need to put this person in for a thistle, and I checked it like 6 times, and every time they had it, but I just kept forgetting that they had it. And then you can also search this by the different type of awards that there are. So like if you ever just, wanted to play on it and you wanted to look at different things, they are listed on here. There's a couple different pages. It also has baronial awards listed in the OP that come with them the AOA level. So for Namron, it's the Order of the Sable Storm, and they're the different ones at each group level. But like for AOA, if you went in there and clicked on it, it's going to have everybody that has been given an AOA going all the way back to 1970. And then most recently as well. So if you don't know what they deserve, because you don't know if it's service, if it is combat related, if it is arts and sciences, there's 2 different places you can look. There is the just kind of a general award descriptions. Find one that's in particular. There's, trying to find it real quick that everybody kind of really knows. So for like the thistle here, it just says arts and sciences. So this is just kind of a very basic overview kind of topic. Service to the kingdom, martial endeavors. But there are other things that also have those titles. So later on, I'll get a little bit in depth with some of them on exactly what they mean, arts and sciences or martial art, and what fields and where they go. You can also talk to other people. I know a lot of times I personally will message Kat and be like, hey, I was thinking about this for this person. What do you think? Do you agree, disagree? And we kind of talk back and forth. You can also talk to your local baron and baroness, or if your group doesn't have a baron baroness, you can talk to your seneschal, and they can help you figure that out as well. After you put in an award recommendation, you should always let them know also, because the crown could reach out to them and ask them, hey, this recommendation was put in. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is what they should get? And those kind of ask their opinion. The more detailed descriptions in the award constitution. Let me make this bigger so you can kind of see. I have the youth awards for it pulled up. It gives it more detail in here. In particular, this one, Aquila Aria, oh, and I can't pronounce it. I'm a bad herald at voice heraldry. So, but this one is for youth under the age of 18 in martial endeavors. This award is intended in most cases after receiving the Rising Star. So the award constitution is the more in-depth, more than just what some of the other stuff is listed, arts and sciences, things like that. Okay. So actually getting into writing the award recommendation is actually really easy to get to. If you go to the Kingdom page, okay, there is a button right at the top that says recommend award. So real quick and easy, and it will pull up the Google form. And then I have screenshots of the Google form throughout. So I'm not going to actually use this one because I don't need to. And then the presentation also has a link to that as well. So once you get in there, it says at the bottom that there are 16 pages. It's not really 16 pages of stuff for you to fill out. There are 16 different sections because there are different pages for each category of award. So the first page is your information as the submitter. Your email address, your name, mundane name, your contact information, phone number, and your SCA name. That way, if the Crown, after the Crown gets your recommendation, they can contact you as well if you have any questions. And if I'm going too fast, tell me. I teach middle schoolers normally, so I do tend to go quickly. So if I need to slow down, just tell me. So the second page is their information, their SCA name. If you're not sure how to spell it, you can check the OP if they have an award. If they don't have any awards, they're not going to be on there. Check Facebook, check with friends, check with your local herald who can help you look it up if it's registered. But there's multiple ways to find it out. And I know like recently I put in an award recommendation and I just went to their Facebook page because they had it on their Facebook page and they have like a Gaelic name and I can't spell it to save my life. So, and if nothing else, you can put your best guess and then in parentheses, put their mundane name. Because somehow, some way, we will figure out how to spell it. And by we, I mean the scribes that are filling out the scrolls. The award type, there are 6 categories. There's general, arts and sciences, children, combat, service, and special. Once you choose your category, this is where the form no longer has consistency. Each category is kind of different. So instead of going through the form individually, I've made a chart with each type of award that is under each category and with a little bit of a description of what they are. So under general, it has the award of arms or AOA, your grant of arms, and your court barony. Now, there are not descriptions in the award constitutions for our kingdom, and I could not find specific descriptions before now. The AOA is usually the first award most people receive, not always, but it is usually the first one that people receive. Grant of arms and court baronies are at the pleasure of the crown. As you will see with some other words, you can always put them for a recommendation. And then everything, no matter what award it is at the at the discretion of the crown. Okay, arts and sciences. Here's where this kind of starts breaking down a little bit differently. For this sable fleur, we've seen a lot of them giving out recently in the last reign, and this is for a singular act of extraordinary artistry or overall excellence in arts and sciences. So I know in the last reign at Winter Kingdom for teaching arts and science classes, these were given out. And so it's that one kind of singular thing. I know at Gulf Wars a few years, they were given out for this laurel kind of, it was like a shawl that they had made. There was a group of people. The sable thistle, on the kind of chart I showed at the beginning just said arts and sciences. I need to move this so I can actually read this. There we go. So it's given to the crown to anybody that shows outstanding work in any field of the arts. And after you type, like you select sable thistle, it will ask you specifically what field. This box might be a little confusing because it also does say sable comet. It says for sable comet, put in the group, and then for sable thistle, the field. And so, because sable comet, when we get to that, is specifically for a group. But this is where you would put something like embroidery, lampworking, brewery, dancing, and be specific. Because if you just put dancing, well, is it Middle Eastern dancing? Is it court dancing? So try to be specific as possible. And again, if the crown doesn't think that's what it is, they will change it to what they think it should be. The Iris of Merit is the second level of Arts and Sciences Award. The Sable Thistle has the AOA level with it. Iris of Merit is the grant level. So usually people will get a thistle before they get a Iris of Merit. And it's an order, but it's not a polling order like some of the others we'll talk about in a few. And they've displayed consistent respect for the laws of Monsieur, arts and sciences, exceptional skill and expertise in their field. Excuse me. And then there's Laurel. While this one is a polling order, you can send in the recommendations to the Crown, but the Crown may already have a list of candidates they plan to discuss within their meetings. So you can still recommend anybody, but the Crown has a pre-scheduled list usually, and it's going to be based off that. So those are the 4 Arts and Sciences Awards. That's not youth related. There's one specifically for youth. Okay, and here are the youth awards. And I'm not going to try to pronounce the first 3, but there's one for youth marshals, youth arts and sciences, and youth service, which is for the under 18. There's the Rising Star, which, like I talked about a few minutes ago, is it's supposed to be before any of the other 3. And then under children, there is the Compass Rose, which is actually for service to children. So that one's a little bit different. It's in the children category, but usually it's given to adults for their service to children. So those are the different youth awards or that category. Combat. So when you get into combat, when you select combat on the next page, it's going to give you a second list of missile, equestrian, rapier, and chivalric or heavy. So it's broken down even further with that one because there's some that are the same and then some that are different depending on the category. So for the missile awards, there's the King's Archer, the Sable Talon, which is given across the different fields of combat, and then the Arc d'Or. So for the King's Archer, it's given by the Crown for combat archery or target archery, the arts and basic heraldry, a Sable Talon, and this description will be for the same across all 4 different categories. So striven to greatly further their skills and capabilities in any recognized martial art activity, who have positively influenced the skills and capabilities of others in their field and lead by example. And then Arc d'Or is another one of the polling orders that you can put, but again, the Crown may already have a list that they are planning on discussing, so it is their discretion. So that is the missile group. Equestrian, there are 2. There's the Golden Bridle and the Golden Lance. The bridle is for the equestrian arts, and then the Golden Lance is the polling order. So again, you can send in your recommendations. For heavy, there is the Sable Falcon, and given unto people who have striven greatly to further their skill and capabilities specifically in heavy weapons combat. The Sable Talon was the same as it is for the missile. Centurion is the polling order. again, and same with chivalry. Both are polling orders, and that is at the discretion of the crown. Again, you can recommend, but they may already have their list. And last is Rapier. There is the White Scarf, which again is a polling order. Used to be grant level, which for missile and heavy Centurion and Arctior are the grant levels on those. And then there's the Queen Rapier, which is given from the Queen for capabilities in Rapier combat. The Blade of Merit is the new grant order for Rapier combat. Distinguish themselves among exceptional skill, leadership, and honor on the Rapier field. And then the Order of Defense, again, is the polling order, and the recommendations can be sent in through the crown. So those are the 4 different categories of combat awards. And then sparrows, or sorry, not sparrows, service, I'll get to sparrows in a second. When you click service and go to the next page, it's going to come up with a box. Are you selecting a Kingdom Award or a Baronial Award? And that will determine which page you go to. I'm only focusing on Kingdom Awards here. So the Sable Sparrow is like the Sable Fleur. It is given for singular acts of extraordinary service. The Comet is the one I mentioned earlier, and it is for service to an official branch other than a barony. So your provinces, your shires, and then you things like that, strongholds, and then you have to specify which group. So on that same form, and I'll try to pull it up in a second, when it says Sable Comet or Sable Thistle, that's where that would go. Sable Crane is your AOA level service award, usually given before the Star of Merit, and it's just for somebody who has displayed outstanding service to the kingdom itself. Excuse me. Star of Merit, service to the kingdom, which kind of goes above and beyond the rest, above that is normally expected of the citizens of Onstiora. And then there is the Pelican, again, the polling order that you can send in recommendations for, but the crown usually has their list predetermined before their meetings with the order. So after you have decided which award, which category, and then you figured that part all out. Oh, sorry, there is one more. There is the augmentation of arms at the pleasure of the crown, and there's not a description in the Kingdom Award Constitution for this one as well. And then there is the Lion of Onstiora. It's non-armigerous. It can be given out 1 per reign. Most of the time, the crown already has decided who they've chosen as their lion, but you can still send in their recommendations for it. If it wasn't, if they wouldn't want recommendations, I guess if it wasn't on the form. It's kind of my thought on it. Okay, so after you figured out what award and what category, what award, why do they deserve it? In this box right here where it says reason, give specific details. Why do you think they deserve this? Have you seen them fight? Have you seen them be of service to the kingdom? Whatever. And try to be as specific as possible. Because if you write this award and you feel like they deserve, say, a Sable Talent, and then what you've written, the crown thinks that it's more service, then the crown can make that determination based off that, based off what you've written. So even if you suggest the wrong award, that's okay. Because the crown would rather have wrong award recommendations than no recommendations. At least I think, in my opinion. I guess I can't speak for them, but that would be my assumption. And then what group are they from? So Barony and Amron, Steps, LC, whatever. What events will this person be attending? Of course, right now, there's no events to be attending, and they're doing everything virtually. But then once events get started back up, if you know they're going to a certain event, go ahead and put that. Or the good fallback is just your local group's next event. Most of the time I'm doing my award recommendations around Beltane and Protectorate. So that's when I'm filling these out. So what to do after you've submitted it. Let your Baron and Baroness or Seneschal know. Get other recommendations too. It's great to get one recommendation in, but it's even better to have more. Most of the time, like I've said before, I've talked to Kat and it's like, hey, we should do this. Do you think so? And I'll write it, she'll write it, and anybody else that we can that agrees with us, they will write it also. One thing to remember is that if the form, I don't know if it gets completely cleared out or how it gets reset with each new reign, but each new reign can choose their awards. So if you recommend somebody during the current reign and they don't get it, go ahead and when the new king and queen step up, put them back in. And that's okay because it's a new set of eyes. They may know stuff that the current crown doesn't, whatever. Or it's been 6 months, so this person has done more work or more fighting or whatever. And so if you put it in again, there's a chance that they'll get it at that point in time, and they maybe just weren't quite ready the first time you put it in. And some crowns will email you back saying, hey, we got your recommendation, we're going to do it. Some crowns don't. So that's kind of at their discretion as well. I've gotten emails back saying, hey, we're going to do this award. Thank you for your recommendation. And then there are times it's just like, nope, I haven't heard anything. And then they got called into court, which is awesome too, because it's a surprise for both of you. So, but that is all I have.
Awesome. Thank you. That was really detailed and you had awesome screen captures and that was great. I do have one quick thing. You did mention that the white scarf used to be grant level and it's not now, but you didn't say that it is non-armigerous. So just for people to know,
Okay.
It doesn't carry an award with it at this time, like a AOA level or a grant level. It's just non-armigerous, which is kind of like the lion. It's more about the prestige at that point than it is the precedence, if you know what those two terms are. If not, you can ask me later and I can explain.
And I do plan to make a few changes to this that mark AOA level, grant level, non-armigerous. I just had not made it that far before tonight.
That was awesome.
So, did anybody else?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Did anybody else have any questions?
I have a question. Is there somewhere where the descriptions of the awards are located so that when you're filling out a award recommendation, you can go and find it?
Yes. Kat will share my presentation later as well, and towards the front, second or third page, there's this one right here, the heraldry.onsewer.org honors, that has very just brief, quick, arts and sciences. And then the more detailed is in the award constitution, specific, what type of information.
Okay, great. And you're going to share that with everybody?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You did an amazing job. I really appreciate this. This is a great class.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
At the last Candlemas, I was given the, and for all service members, I believe it's called the Sable Shield. And I don't think that's any particular, I don't know if it really falls into this necessarily, but if we get an award, is there some place where we should be going to our profile and going, okay, I got this award on this date? Is there anything like that I should be putting that?
You don't have to put it in anything. At the end of court, the heralds have a court report that they fill out, and they send it into who's known as the Zodiacus Herald, who in turn puts it into the OP.
Okay.
So you could go into the OP, like I did earlier, and search my name. Okay. And once it loads, any award that you have given, and if you go in there and you search your name, and it's something that you know you've received that is a kingdom level award isn't there, you can message, email the Zodiacus Herald, and they can fix that for you.
Okay.
The Sable Shield that you're talking about is non-armigerous, and I don't know if they track that when they do court reports or not, because it is something that they just call everybody up, and I don't know if they take names on that or not. Oh, actually, let me look here real quick.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If you could go look at Orlando's and see.
Mine's
It
not
is,
there. Mine's not there, and I've got one.
Yeah,
it
I
is
think
not kept on the OP. Looking at the
Right.
list of Sable named
Okay.
awards, the Sable Shield does not get put on the OP.
All right. So that's not one that's tracked.
Right.
Okay.
It's for your military service.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kaylee?
Yeah.
Is there an area where to look if you're a first-time award writer that okay, so we are working on something within our group and for an individual, and I'm having difficulty, maybe I'm just not looking in the right spot, to find out what the guidelines are for putting someone in for a court barony.
Though that was not listed in the there it is, Kingdom Constitution. If you want to shoot me a message after this, I will see if there's something at the higher level. If not, I will try to help you figure that out.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions?
Awesome job.
Nice. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you very much. We really
Yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
And if you'll send me your PowerPoint, I can get that posted, and I'll post the video as well.
Awesome. I will do that.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. Everybody have a good night.
All right.
You too.
All right, thank
Bye-bye.
you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks all. Bye.